morning, YouTube family. Glenn, Grow USA Organics, coming at you. It's quite early. It's about 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. Today's video, even though I'm using my phone, which is an antiquated Motorola something, Moto G Stylus 2021, seemed to have misplaced my GoPro, and one of my dearest friends, of course, actually got me this shirt. Also bought me a microphone for my GoPro, because the audio on my other videos has not been very good. I've been told the lighting hasn't been very good, so I've addressed sort of half of one. Connected the microphone, didn't default the camera, the GoPro, to use that as the audio. Use the microphone, the external microphone, as the 3.5 mil jack as the external sound device. So I got no sound. So I had two videos with no sound. Anyway, so I'm disappointing him, I'm sure. Eric Tech stuffs. But I wanted to quickly. It's been a while since I did a video. I don't want to say the C word. Starts with the letter C, ends in an A. Also is the brand of beer. But I was sick for about, over just under 2 weeks. And it was a weird sick. It was so bad, in fact, I took a picture, a screenshot of what it is, right? It's that H5N2, 1, whatever version we're up to now on it. I know that's the bird flu sounding, characterization of the flu, but, well, I'll just use it for my own means at this point. I'll just borrow it from them for now. But I know we're in a later version, I think, of Corona. I said it. I didn't want to say it. But anyway, yeah, I mean, my whole body ached. Internal organs were, felt like I was in some sort of, roller coaster washing machine that went out of control, and I'm pretty strong. I exercise, I work out, I walk, I take my vitamins, quit drinking. And I was really in a bad way. Anyway, so I took the picture of it, and I actually was going to use it to illustrate a video. But then life happened. But Well, when I mean life happened, it's about, okay, the crux, the what's the word? There's that great author that uses this word all the time, but he killed himself. Two of my favorite authors killed themselves: David Foster Wallace and Hunter S. Thompson. S for Stockton. The ethos, right? The ethos of, that's the word, Grow USA Organic, is reclaiming your food and bringing the ability to eat organically to the home user, home consumer. So yesterday a friend takes me out to breakfast, which is always nice. He always treats. I don't know, I could never seem to give him any money. I mean, I could throw it on the table and walk away, but and he said to me, how's it going with business? I said, well, we're not ready to grow just yet. I've got 2,000 seeds planted outside. Tonight we're going down to 30 degrees. So I put all the seeds in the garage. I'll put a heater on them. Great. If I lose 2,000 seeds, I was told by somebody to not say things that are negative, right? It's that maybe like classical conditioning of telling yourself that, or just saying that things are bad, things aren't right, when in fact things aren't bad and things are pretty good, right? But it's almost like this dry humor that my dad, who I love dearly, God rest his soul, greatest man in my opinion ever, unfortunately, it wasn't exactly. I feel bad for him. He could have lived a better life if he had been maybe involved with other people. Anyway, and he kind of said, "What's the impetus of Grow USA Organic?" Like, oh no, he said, "How did you get the idea?" And I really like that question because A, no one ever asked me that, and B, um, it's I didn't have to think very hard. It was pretty easy to answer. Well, I'll take a half a step back. Before I said that, we were talking about something else, and I found myself expressing to him a distaste for a particular individual we both know. And I'm pretty good at insulting people. Low tone, no curses, but cutting, right? Words that are sharp edged and, terrible, right? You don't want to do that. You want to lift people up. You don't want to cut them down. But it's been a side of me that definitely needs some to be addressed, right? I never want to do that to anybody, even if they deserve it. I'd rather just smile and walk away. Napoleon Hill was all over his book last night. I read a lot, um, and of course, this is something that is a big part of what I absolutely have every intention of, seeing through to its most thorough. Anyway, so I tend to detract and then go back and sometimes lose my thought. But in this case, I think even though it's about 4:30 in the morning on, I guess, the 21st of March, 2025. That is to say, as I was going on my insulting rant of this individual, it was pretty good though. Um, my friend said, you know, um, wow, you really said that well, even though he's not the type of guy who would say such things. Again, respectful, no cursing, but, really, really, really went in on this guy. Um, he's like, wow, I really love the way you said that. I really love the way you laid that out. I really like, but you could see he was kind of, sometimes when you do something, of act of violence, don't do that, or an act of something like really cutting someone down, you get a look on people's face. They're like, "Ooh, wow, that's a lot," and it was. But I was kind of saying it jokingly because the guy is an idiot, and he does get such high accolades from people. He's. Well, here I go. I'm ready to go into him, but I won't. He's just not my type of guy. Anyway, so there's this great compliment, and the guy does a lot of writing, and I do a lot of writing, and I think one of the nicest things anyone ever said to me. Um, my voice is actually the voice of a few businesses that I got paid a little bit of money for. Please press one for the parts department. Not exactly that, but so my voice, right? The words I carry with me because I read a fair amount, were used as offensive measures towards gaining what I wanted or putting someone in a category that I felt was made me feel better, um, saying things to them, of course, face to face, right? But there's a way when you do it calmly that just doesn't come across as super confrontational, when in fact it's exactly that. Right? Anyway, and then part two, B, is when he had asked me, why did I start the business, and it really has to do with. I hope I'm getting myself in the picture here. I'm moving right at the camera. It really has to do with my desire to, New York is fine when you're younger, and for me, speaking for myself, college and beyond, work, bars, dinner out, meeting people, it's a really good time. And then, obviously, I think you outgrow your surroundings. I've lived in 7 states, lived in Colorado, Kentucky, California, Florida, um, obviously Maine, um, obviously South Carolina, right? 13 years, what a mess that was. My son turns 18 in June, believe it or not. No contact with him based on these people. I won't classify them as people. I'll classify them as, um, what was the people of H.G. Wells' book that lived on the ground? I forgot what they were called. Them, but worse. And we will meet one day, right? And we'll see what they have to say then. Um, anyway, I feel it coming over me, right? I feel my fingertips like electricity shooting through them, like I could zap them with some sort of thunderbolt or lightning strike. So the answer to his question, again, going backwards to go forwards, was um, that when I left New York, I bought a van, right? It's right outside, even though it's off the road, um, and got a job at a farm, organic farm up in Maine. Um, and it was great. I mean, the people there were very left wing, which is fine. It's not a political channel. Um, I didn't. I don't really. I'm kind of a political atheist. I really don't have a association. I kind of have my own ways, opinions. Using a rubber band to tie my hair is never a good idea. And but really, that meant nothing. That's not. I care less. What mattered to me was what I was learning, what I was doing, um, and how I was feeling. Right, because I was eating these vegetables on the farm. As I take a little jar of Teddy peanut butter, and maybe just dip a little broccoli spear or whatever it was I was picking or harvesting or growing or planting or whatever in that day. Um, and then met this great girl, not in that way, but she came up to Maine from Florida, and she was a manager of a farm in Florida. So she said, "Oh, if you ever want to come down," I was like, "I want to come down." So I had 2 years there, and then back here being New York City, and so I had this. It wasn't even something that I consciously was looking to make, a ton of money on, or really money at all. Of course, you have to have that. You need cash flow. You need income. The great enabler, but it's nothing great about it. You could do without, but you know, um, not now as it stands for this particular sector. Small sliver of my life. I find it to be a very transitional state I'm in right now. I feel changes not on the horizon. I feel changes upon me. And the idea was to bring with my ebook, again not completed, cut half of it out. I cut 30 pages out because I went in the wrong direction. And then when I reread it, I'm like, this is not what I'm trying to, this is not what the book is intended to be. It could be something else, but it's not what, I went in the wrong direction. So I had to rewrite all that. Anyway, um, and when I see people and I see their shopping habits in the store, it's concerning, right? I mean, it really is. The health issue in America is really a big deal. And here's this farm. Okay, so it's Maine, so it's 6 hours, and then this was not exactly at the border, which is like, what's that town called? Bethel? So, I'm not sure. It's one of the first towns in Maine, Sunday River area. Even um, the Kennedy Retreat. What's that called? I don't know. It'll come to me. So it was like, why can't people kind of grow their own? Not as a full-time food source, but maybe a little bit of an insurance policy against maybe, breakage in the supply chain. I think that will happen. Of course, I'm a doomer. This will be there will be some doomer episodes. I promise you out there. All non-doomers. I mean, doomer is not such a bad thing. It's kind of activism. It's kind of lighting a candle in the darkness rather than cursing the darkness. So slowly but surely, I started to build up some inventory, got myself incorporated, got the websites, got the social media. Yuck, didn't want to do that, but people were like, social media, social media. I'd rather meet people. So that's the plan. So to answer his question and to make this sort of today's um, talk would be, one day it'll be a fireside chat. As of right now, it's a House in Queens um, fireside chat in a more rural area, not urban America. Um, the big cities are just a little tough. I wake up in the morning, I take the dogs, and boom, 6 o'clock in the morning, buses, honking, trains. You hear it. It's just this. I've talked about this before, but I just know a place where the birds are singing. They sing here. I feed them in the backyard all the time. They're so excited when I open the door in the morning. But I haven't figured out their food that's not birdseed that they like yet. I've tried so many things. We'll have to buy them birdseed. I think I've given up on what's in the refrigerator or what's in the cupboard. Uh, and really, the idea was to, and is functional after buying a lot of supplies, is to have, um, starting with herbs, your choice. You can go on growusaorganic.com. I've built it myself, but I don't think it's ready to take. It's not ready to take payments online, but I have in the product section, the store, what I'm talking about right now. And if I didn't, I'll do it today. So by the time you watch this, all my 20 viewers, it should be ready. It's just I'm so tired of doing everything myself, but I have to. There's no room for paying anybody, and I'm not asking for volunteers. I have people who are offering, but I still feel bad, right? They're like, "Oh, let me help you with whatever you want." I love the idea. Everyone loves the idea. So the idea is, um, the in these boxes there will be cells, right? A cell. I think I have one here. Oh, by the way, this is my GoPro with no GoPro inside, with every accessory you could ever want. Somewhere around here, I've got the cells. It's a 4 cell packet about that deep. You've seen them in the nurseries. Um, so growing from small ones right now that are in the garage under heat tonight into the boxes, and they will be herbs at first, and then we can talk about bigger stuff. That's phase 2. And these will be sold individually at 3 areas. I've applied for my nursery license. I haven't heard yet. I've applied for 2 farmers markets. They're so stuck up, right? One right here locally, which I would be a shoe-in because I have no competition. There's nothing that sort of trickles down to something I'm doing that other people are doing, or trickles up. There's no connection, but these people, they're so great, right? Why would I even attempt to apply with their how wonderful they run things? I think they run it terribly. I would gut the administration there. You know what that sounds like, but it's not intended to. But these very tired, non-directional, non-forward thinking groups that think they just have it all because, well, we've got a farmers market in the city. Same thing with you people at Union Square. Good thing that fire didn't get out of control last year. How did that happen, right? You've got this winter wonderland where there's possibly 100 vendors selling all these wonderful things around the holidays, and you have a fire that burns down all these vendors' like stalls, which is not what they are, but I've been there a bunch of times. It's beautiful. Good job, guys. Way to handle it. A fire of all things. It's like a comet could have hit it, right? I mean, that would have been out of your control, but this wasn't. So I don't need you in your farmers markets. My plan, which is going forward, is to have 3 locations where I've got people to do this with me, and to be selling these publicly. I've even got a personal license. It's up there, the copy of the application. So we'll be well covered in terms of the legality of it all, plus our EIN number. But again, it goes back to why I did this. Why did I start Grow USA Organic? And I think because of the 4 years I had, it's really 4 seasons, but I'll call it 4 years, able to bring that knowledge through the ebook, which is really a story, but it has some um, information in terms of instructional. On the website, questions always available to be answered, packages that you can buy for your yard, your front yard, your apartment, and having the organic food at within your reach. There's a great book called Why Your World is About to Get a Whole Lot Smaller. Even though it was written in 2012, it kind of talks about oil prices and that the average piece of, not maybe frankfurters or a can of tomato sauce, which don't buy either of those two, by the way. Do it yourself. Don't buy hot dogs, they're terrible. Try to stay off meat and grow your own tomatoes and make your own pasta sauce. Very easy to do. Keep the seeds in too, keep the skins in. No one's watching. It's still delicious. Everybody's so particular. You gotta get the seeds out, I gotta get the skin out. Just You don't have to do that right away. If you're cooking for dinner guests, maybe. So, yeah, and for $20 as a starting price point, you can have the box with 8 cells of your choice of, 4 at most different herbs. And yet, the grocery store is right a few yards away, not even 100 yards away, of all 3 locations, are selling, rosemary for your, lamb. Again, don't eat meat, but a soup, a stock, something like that. You're going to have a vegetable soup for $5. Here you get this beautiful painted box, stained really. The cells, the seeds, I'll even throw in some extra free seeds. You'll see that on the website with the great soil, with all the good stuff in it, right? The earthworm castings, proper pH balance, really good stuff. And a little bit of a lesson that you could show your kids. You can have your plant in your house that brings up the mood, right? The aromatics, the pleasure of seeing this thing that's now yours. I mean, it's like a pet, sort of, right? Like, better than a pet rock, too. Those things sold millions. I don't know if you guys remember the pet rock. But anyway, I'll leave that for now. Dogs are starting to move, and that's always a bad sign for me when it's cold and their food's not ready. But, we all manage. So have a blessed weekend. Blessed, I don't know if that's the word I want to use. Have a wonderful, exciting weekend. Get out in the sun a little bit when it's available. And thank you guys for subscribing. Always share, but I don't think this channel is going to be this channel that prison talk, 10 million viewers. And I mean, I could talk a little bit about my experiences as it relates to being a little bit on the inside. But this is so much better, right? This is so much life-giving. This is something that you can share with people. Give your neighbors some of the rosemary clippings. I'm using rosemary specifically. I don't know why. Basil seems to be the big one that people love, and parsley. But so tune in again, and keep the love going, right? We live in times where I think the love factor. Love yourself first, because without that, it's hard to love others. And be good to each other, eat your vegetables, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.